Very much.
And now a tragic story to bring you of teenage love gone horribly wrong. Take a look. On February 15th, just one day after Valentine's Day, Natasha Hall, a 17-year-old high school student, was brutally gunned down by her boyfriend, Clay Kuffner, outside her Florida home. Natasha's mother and stepfather say they never liked their daughter's 19-year-old boyfriend. Police paperwork shows Sherry called the DeLand police about Clay throughout the 5 months Natasha dated him. Even Natasha was driven to call the police on him.
As they're putting the final touches on the report, she came back out and said, I don't want to file it.
But Clay's threats continued and became more and more severe, threatening phone calls, emails, and eventually physical abuse. After each incident, Natasha's mother contacted authorities. Natasha eventually did file charges. Her stepfather thinks officers dropped the ball.
By not following up on the charges they put, he should have been in therapy.
Deputy Chief Randall Henderson says he doesn't think his department necessarily did anything wrong.
To say that we've been called to this family's, to assist this family several times, absolutely we have, since about November of last year. To say that the police department has done nothing to help this family, I think is a misnomer.
But this would not be enough to stop the enraged ex-boyfriend. On the night she was murdered, Natasha Hall was not alone. Her best friend, Michelle Karpowitz, was there.
As she turned around and closed the door, I was like, Natasha, gun, because Clay had came from the side of the house.
That's when Karpowitz says Clay Kuffner shot Natasha and then turned the gun on her. So she ran away from the house as fast as she could.
I was going crazy, like I couldn't breathe. I mean, watching my best friend get shot, like, I couldn't help her.
Karpowitz would later find out her best friend's murderer had also taken his own life at the scene of the crime. Here tonight in a lineup exclusive, Natasha's mother, Sherry Hall, and her aunt, Sonia Hall. Thank you, ladies, for joining me tonight. As a former prosecutor, this is such an important story to me because I've seen far too many tragic cases like this where relationships go wrong, and unfortunately it seems like the law lets people down, and I want to talk to you about that tonight. Yes. I'm going to begin with you, Sherry. Tell us about their relationship and how it began, and did you see an evolution of violence progress as they had continued to date?
Yes, it did escalate. They were dating for, at the beginning, I met the young individual. Tasha told me he was a straight-A student, and I'm like, I come from a middle-class family. They started dating. He started telling her what to wear. Then he started telling her who to see. And then it became physical when she wouldn't listen to him.
There are a number of instances, and Sonia, I'll bring you in on this, that I read about that are just so disturbing, where the violence was really escalating, and we smashed an ice cream cone, injuring her into her face, and things where he did stuff in public, not just behind closed doors. Did you know about these things that they were going on, and what did Natasha tell you about it?
Well, there was several instances that in public there was witnesses. The police could have filed charges whether she wanted to or not. She was asking for help. They didn't help her.
So
she did
you
press
feel let down by
charges
them
when she was in the store.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because I think there's a misconception out there in some of the reports that have gone forward that said, well, look, she didn't want to press charges, and the police saying, we weren't able to do what... Right, I know that that's incorrect. So tell us exactly what happened in terms of the times that, yes, she was cooperative, she did want help from the police.
The only instance that she didn't want to press charges was the very first instance. That was the only time that she did not want to press charges. In all the other incidents, she wanted to press charges. Her mother tried to get charges pressed. And out of the 9 times that they were called, they actually pressed charges on him twice. They slapped him with the smallest charge that they could put on him.
They misspelled his name. They misspelled his name so no one could find the police reports.
Oh, wow. Now, Sherry, I understand that she even sort of was in trouble with the police because they said, stop calling us. Is that true?
That was the instant
That happened on Wednesday night.
Before the Friday she was killed.
It was a Wednesday night, the Friday before she was murdered. He came by, and she's like, what are you doing over here? And he's like, I just want to talk to you before I go into the military. And she's like, and he instantly would start badgering her, and she's like, she went inside, she's like, Mom, tell him to leave. I don't want to deal with him. I'm done with him. Please.
Did you feel like something bad was going to happen? Did you have sort of that foreshadowing, foreboding, that feeling inside?
We all did.
Oh, yes. Every time he would try to find her alone. He was pretty psychotic.
Well, that Wednesday, he had climbed on the roof and was watching Natasha sleep. She woke up and she saw him. She ran downstairs and told her mother, he's watching me.
She's like, this is really creepy, Mom. He's freaking me out. He's watching me sleep.
So Sherry called the police. And when the police showed up, they talked to Clay out front. He did have a knife on him. We don't know why. And the female officer, what was her name?
It was McNeil. S.M. McNeil.
Came inside and was talking to Sherry and Natasha. And that's when she told Natasha, if you call the police, we're tired of coming out. If you call the police again, we're going to arrest both of you.
Yeah, this could have
saying
been
that.
prevented. That's the problem. We're going to continue to talk about this on the show this evening to say what could have done to prevent this terrible tragedy. I want to thank you both personally for coming on the show tonight, and our thoughts and prayers are with you during this unbelievably difficult time. Thanks so much for